Okay, in this video I've just come from the smoke limiting map, the map where injection quantity was being limited by manifold pressure, and I've come straight to the boost map because it's the boost map that's supplying the manifold pressure, so it makes sense to come straight to here. The logical progression would have been to go from the smoke map to the torque map, but I'm going straight to here instead because I want to talk about how we are going to get suitable air for our smoke map. Now here's the original file information, so this has come straight off of my Seat Leon EDC16 hex dump. So there's the basic map information. Here I'm using similar calculators that I've used all along. One means no change over here, and at any point after the decimal point is a percentage change when it gets over to here. So 10%, 13%, 13%. And so this is my changed map. So this region has been changed, and the change is by these amounts. Now, I've chosen these amounts not completely at random, but basically what I've done is I've looked at the figures and I said to myself, how will I get a reasonable number here, and what is a reasonable number given that I decided that 2 bar or 2000 millibar wasn't enough on the smoke map. So basically I said to myself, well, I'll give myself a figure of somewhere in the region of 2250 or 2300, and then I'll just alter these to see what numbers give me that. And that was 1.18, and then I've just scaled it back a little bit so it's not a sudden bang of boost coming in. So there is no great science behind this. I could have done endless calculations, but I didn't bother on this occasion. I just said, well, 1.18 is going to give me some reasonable figures here, and then I'll just scale them back so that it's a nice smooth flow. Right, now what do I do once I've got these figures? Well, these are at the moment, they are in boost, but it's difficult to look at boost figures and say to yourself, is that boost suitable for fueling? And at the moment, of course, these figures here for injection quantity are ludicrous compared to the boost increase that I've produced. So what we've got at the moment is a big change to the map and no change to the axis there. So I've left that alone at the moment. Right, now let's see what this means. If I pick the 2301 there, 2301 of boost at 475 milligrams per stroke, which is a reasonable assumption for a 1900cc engine, will give me an air supply of 1093 milligrams per stroke. So I've got that much air available. Now, if I assume 55 milligrams of fuel and that much air, it will give me an air fuel ratio of somewhere around about 19.87. So okay, not a bad figure. If I inject 60, it drops to 18.22, so still perfectly okay figure. I often use 18 or 18.1, so 18.22 is perfectly okay. If I use 65, it drops it to 16.82, and many tuners use 16 or somewhere in the region of 16 when they're mapping, and so this sort of number again would be a perfectly acceptable air fuel ratio. So 55, 60 and 65 would be perfectly okay values to be used on our maps, in which case I could insert 55, 60 and 65 up here, and that would be okay because 65 would be okay with my 2301 because that's 16.82, not too bad as an air fuel ratio. And if I then come back a little bit, and let's say I didn't go 60, 55, you can see I've left out 60, but if I come back to 55, I would be injecting 55, but this is still fairly high, 2282, 2283. I could work it out exactly with the calculator, but I'm not going to bother, I'm fairly sure I'm close enough. So, and what I've done is I've scaled these back a little bit simply by sliding these along. So you can see that what I've done is I've said to myself, well, if I put that 30 there and then that 35 can go in there, I'll ignore 40 and put 45 in there instead, 55 in there, 65 in there. So on my changed map, which isn't completely there at the moment, what I would do is I would delete those figures there and insert those ones instead. And then I would repeat the process because there are two boost maps, so I would repeat it for here. This boost map's got slightly different values. They are in fact slightly higher, and so if anything my air supply is going to be slightly better, so I don't have to worry about any other changes. I can probably stick with these. So I would put those in. So that would give me reasonable boost changes. And now I've got plenty of air to be able to pop back to here, and instead of 2000 I can have a change in these figures. Now I will come back to that at a later date, because otherwise this will get out of control, because now we've changed the boost map we really should check the limiter, so I'm going to check that next. So I'll stop here.